Next, we're going to talk about user acceptance testing. So we talked through test script creation, purpose of all that. User acceptance testing is when you start letting people into the system to execute those test scripts. It might just be you looking for, your application to be built. You might be the only user going through the acceptance testing. It's a good idea if you can get at least one or two other people to test alongside with you. And, it's even better if some of the people that are testing are not as close to the application as you, because, you're going to go in with some assumptions as to how the application should work. Other people who aren't as close aren't going to go in with those assumptions. So they might use the application in a different way, and that might be similar to how your software actually gets used versus how you were intending it to get used. So it's always good to just get the extra opinions there. Make sure you track everything. So, as everyone's going through their own independent testing, the test scripts, the sample that we provided have like pass-fail criteria on every step. Make sure those are being logged, but also just maintain like a master, issues, questions and enhancements tracker to make sure that, you're holding the development team accountable for fixing the defects on time. And make sure that they're prioritized. So, there are some issues that might be critical where your application can't function without them, whereas other ones might just be, hey, my button isn't perfectly centered, it's off by, half a pixel, something like that isn't mission critical and shouldn't be touched until after, the core application functionality defects are resolved. And then just lastly, I see this so many times that, when you're performing the testing, a lot of people, a lot of organizations require the developers to, be, whether on a Zoom or, in the same room or, whatever, while they're doing the testing so that they can start real-time reporting defects. And that's great, but, you just want to make sure you're managing the team's time, because their time in these testing sessions are going to take them away from fixing defects. There are some things they can do on the fly, but it's not going to be as efficient if they're listening to you going through your list of tests and trying to resolve issues that touch multiple systems. We have here an example of, and we're going to make this available for download, an issue question enhancement log where you can assign, an ID, categorize, subcategorize them, mark them as whether it's a question, issue enhancement, provide a description of the item, status for it, and really you should at minimum be tracking, when questions and issues are open versus, in progress, they're being worked on, ready for retest means that you can go back and rerun your test to turn it from a fail to a pass. And then closed is once you report that everything's working properly, that issue is closed. Having a separate tracker is just going to help you in your status meetings go through, okay, how many open items do we have? How many are in progress? What's ready for retest? How come, 2 days went by and nothing is ready? It's just going to help with from an accountability standpoint.